Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Strategic Command World War II, War in the Pacific, Rise and Fall of an Empire, a new DLC out for Strategic Command World War II, War in the Pacific. This is the Marco Polo to Pearl Harbor scenario, and we've just taken the Japanese capital at Nanking and are trying to push a little bit further inland. We are playing as the Japanese. We're pretty thinly stretched throughout all of China, which, you know, is not shocking for Japan trying to invade China. We got a pretty good concentration of troops near Nanking, but honestly, most of them need reinforcements and need some time to rest and regroup. They've been engaged in a campaign here for, well, since the first 6 months or so. They've gradually, moved in, but they've taken heavy losses. You can see a lot of these units are not in very good shape. 3, 5, 4 hit points, very vulnerable to counterattacks. Fortunately for us, the bulk of the enemy troops that are around here seem weaker. I'm sure I'm jinxing this here, but there's some sort of warlord troops of the Szechuan army here and here, and then there's a nationalist Chinese army formation down here that are all in full strength. But the troops in this pocket here are not. The troops up here are full strength, but they're surrounded. The Chinese have moved their capital to Wuchang out here near Hankou and then Wuhan. And so we'll probably need to push inland there, but we really need a few moments to rest and sort of regroup. We also have taken the Shantung Peninsula largely without conflict, thanks to that warlord basically surrendering to us. We also recently took the city of what is this? Chengti, which is the capital of another warlord tribe up here in the north, and there's some enemy concentrations around here. And we're just really spread out here. We're trying to push inland a bit, but we've got to garrison some key hexes at Leon, and then down here at Choteau, because the enemy has guerrillas who could rise up there. There's communist forces around here. We're just not very strong in the north. We've gotten a good concentration down here, but that's about it. And then we're trying to sort of link up with the troops that just took Shanghai and Nanking, with a push south toward Xingao and then maybe toward Haochou Bay. And I'm sorry for any Chinese speaker. I'm sure I'm butchering these pronunciations here. To that end, let's go ahead and move the 109th Division over here to attack these air units. And then we can pull this mixed brigade back. Whoops, don't do that. Into Shuchou to guard against a flank attack from this Chinese army that may try and get around the Westing Lake and into our territory here. We could try and finish destroying the 10th Army. I'm a little confused by oh, those are army groups. So 4 soldiers is an army group, 3 is an army. Okay. Most of these troops around here can attack, so let's go ahead and try to attack the 10th Army here. Move these guys up toward Nanking. Oh, don't do that. Shift. Okay. Or at least bloodying them, even if we're not destroying them. All right, so that's everybody attacking in that group who can. They reinforce, they'll at least be way down in experience. This is a crack division. The 3rd division, 20th division here has 3 experience stars and is nearly full strength. So they're in good shape. We need more troops. We need more garrison troops in China. More like smaller units that I can use as garrison troops, not frontline. I think we have 1 newly raised regiment, the 12th regiment here. We can throw these guys on transports for 15 MPPs. And get them out this way. We need a garrison at the airfield here near Chenan, I think it is. Closest port looks to be here. So we'll move these guys toward the Grand Canal. I'd also like to be able to free up the 6th Division here by putting another regiment in there. That's a brigade. They don't need to stay there. Okay. All right, we have 203 MPPs. Let's go ahead and spend some of that. We can get some regiments here. We can also get some local troops, which arrive more quickly. So the PGRC, they cost 57 MPPs. We've got 203. So we'll go ahead and buy one of those. And then they're maxed out. We'll go ahead and buy more Japanese regiments as well. So those will be the maximum number of sort of cheap conscripts. We'll have 3 more of them. So the new regiment here will go toward the Grand Canal. The 2 regiments that I'm raising here want to go toward Chatu, which will free up the 6th Division to push inland. And then the 1st Brigade can stay. I mean, it's a brigade, but it's also not a core unit. So the other one, the 3rd and final, we could deploy maybe toward Kiwa. I'm not sure. Also, let's move this artillery piece on a forced march, which hurts their effectiveness, but at least we'll get them, or their morale really, down toward Wang Chao. This destroyer, I have 32 MPPs left, so we'll spend some repairing that destroyer. And then we've got this enemy torpedo boat up here, which I would like to attack, because they've been sort of pestering our carriers. Okay. I think we also do have another division here, the 14th, which has just arrived in Japan, which will be ready to come online next turn. We'll probably start moving some of these aircraft into China soon too. But I think that'll do it for this turn. So I guess I do want to move that artillery over here where they can support against these troops. All right, let's see what the Chinese have in store for us here. Communist guerrilla activities, long-range aircraft level 1. I need to focus on taking out some of these coastal Chinese cities, which influences their economy. Japan historically did a lot of amphibious assaults along the coast. I don't really have the resources to do that right now, but something we should look at. We've got it looks like they moved that army across the Weissen Lake. Maybe we can move in behind them and cut them off. Now the manpower situation, the enemy does have about 20% more units than we do. Our quality is much better, but they're, you know, when you're as spread out as we are, having more units can be a real benefit, because you can swing in, cut off units, and just make sort of advancing difficult. But we'll see. Enemies staying in place down here near Nanking, reinforcing rather than withdrawing. I would really like the option. The state of general mobilization, also known as the National Mobilization Law. This legislation was enacted by the Diet on March 24th, 1938. It enables Japan to shift its national economy to a wartime footing, nationalizing key industries, news media, labor unions, preparation for total war with China. As the war in China stalls, the Imperial Army has exerted increased pressure on the civilian government to pass a series of ordinances with expanded military control of civilian industries. The aim is to boost economic output by increasing government influence over the civilian economy, aligning it more closely with the demands of total war. Expect Japan's national morale to dip, but additional MPPs will become available. Battle of Sarzong. The battle fought in this province in 1938 was China's first major victory in the Second Sino-Japanese War. General Li Sung-yen masterfully organized Chinese forces to halt the Japanese southward advance. Li's success is credited to his meticulous planning and tactical ingenuity by luring the Japanese forces into a carefully laid trap. He managed to encircle and destroy them. This victory not only showcased the effectiveness of inspired leadership, but also proved that Chinese soldiers, when well led, could resist defeat and defeat formidable Japanese forces. Okay. Field Marshal Sung, Minister of War, establishment of provisional government of China in Peking has been a success. We now have the opportunity to replicate this success in central China, centered around Nanking, should we establish the reformed government of Republic of China. For initial cost of 125 MPPs, Nanking will become the capital, and an additional 25 MPPs to return will be generated. 2 new units will be deployed, additional units will become available. Japan's national morale will increase. Both China's and US mobilization will. So this is important for me because US mobilization decreasing, they're at like 60% right now. If they get to 100%, we lose. So having them decrease would be good. Is there a reason why you wouldn't want to do this? I mean, I guess the United States reaction sinking the gunboat Panay has been unexpectedly strong. Okay, should we apologize and payment 100 MPPs and lower US national mobilization? Okay. Allowing the sentiment to grow unchecked could harm both strategic goals and therefore de-escalate tensions. We recommend. So this would save you money, but we need more time, and we can't afford the US to get into a war early, so we will say yes. Which means we'll probably have pretty much no money next turn. Okay. That garrison is now in place. Feels like a good turn to reinforce where we can. Okay. Just spend most of my money reinforcing several units. We could make these guys give them elite reinforcements, but I don't want to do a partial, so we'll only do reinforcements where a full unit can be reinforced. Go ahead and use our artillery here against these enemy troops. Surprisingly effective against this 6th Army group. Okay. Wang Chao, we bombed them. Be nice if we could drive them out of there, but okay, destroyed that Chinese unit and advanced further toward. I don't even know where they're advancing. They're just advancing along the rail line. Zero to 6, huh? Those are pretty good odds. See if we can destroy both of these, because that. See if we can destroy this division too. All right, there we go. So the enemy division was destroyed. Also, the enemy army group is destroyed. Move that artillery forward. All right, so this enemy army group moved in behind us. We just advanced to cut them off with this mixed brigade. Okay. We'll weaken this volunteer Soviet air unit. They could advance on the secondary supply, which might be a little bit of a problem, but so they'll probably have some supply because of that, but we'll see. Meanwhile, I don't really have enough MPPs to reinforce the troops in the north. So let's focus on destroying these Chinese armies that are pushed up against us. Okay. So they could raise troops there if I move troops away from there. All right. Destroyed that Chinese army. And then we will move this brigade toward there to garrison, because they're a brigade anyway. They'll be useful to garrison, although they're more, would have been better off moving the less experienced of the brigades. Cut this army off with infantry. Finish them off with cavalry. Okay. So we're kind of defending along this river line here near Qingtai. But we did manage to destroy several Chinese army groups. So they're down to 41 and 11, so 52 units versus our 46. Let's move our bombers forward here. Can I still bomb? No, we'll just relocate to that airfield. Also move our fighters out that way too, so they've got escorts when they go bomb. We'll do a partial reinforcement there because we do have Chinese troops bearing down on us. Great if we could destroy these. Got them. Communist units. All right, so we destroyed a communist unit there. Took that town, but that doesn't matter as much. The My Clique has an army group and an army both moving out in on us. Enemies on to 10 communist units there. What are we looking at? I've never actually looked at the income in this. So if we look at spent and collected income for Japan is going to plummet because of those commitments we just made, but we do make about 240, just shy of 240 a turn. National morale's bounced back up a little bit since some hits. The Chinese, meanwhile, their national income is higher than ours. It's at just shy of 520. And they're spending good chunks of it. However, they're also losing a lot when you compare our losses to theirs. Like, we've never exceeded 280, whereas they're losing, like, they've lost over 1,000 worth of units so far. Their national morale's pretty steady. They're not spending much on research. We have spent more. I don't know why these other countries are even in here. But yeah, so I have no money left to transfer those troops from Japan to China this turn. We'll have to hold off on that. The gunboat we could attack with air units. Won't do much. Gunboats versus gunboats are decent though. Finish them off. I don't really understand how to effectively use carriers in this particular scenario. I know those air wings are beat up a bit, but I just generally don't understand how that really works. U.S. mobilization still sticking at 60. So maybe the events didn't actually make things go backwards, but it did slow it down maybe? I don't know. Income is going to be 64 next turn. The Panay indemnity, the establishing reformed government, but now we have 2 reformed governments and a national mobilization law to offset that a bit. The flood was the result of a deliberate breach of the levees of the Yellow River. So the Yellow River is being flooded. The breach unleashed widespread human suffering and catastrophic economic losses. This is something that Dana Ritter's book touches on a bit, about how the nationalists choosing to flood the Yellow River was miserable for the everyday person, served a considerable amount of of military good in delaying the Japanese, but it sort of hurt the nationalists in the eyes of the normal people in a way that they could never recover from post-war. Meanwhile, the communists were able to, not being in power, they were able to sort of distance themselves from that. Oh, fuck. Are these new units popping up out of nowhere? I don't think there was any indication I needed to garrison those hexes. God damn it. Okay then. Looks like a lot of Chinese guerrillas are popping up everywhere, and I do not have the troops to deal with them. Pretty heavy counterattack against that division of ours. So I wonder what all those guerrilla units popping up does to their unit count. I guess we'll see. One thing I wasn't anticipating is the oh my god, they're popping up everywhere. There were not indications I needed to garrison any of those places. Usually in this game, it's like if there's a garrison need, it'll show you right here on this button, but now they're like just activating, and we didn't know they were activating until just now. Here. Kind of pesky too. There we go. Finally destroyed that air unit there with our carriers. Okay. Well, we've got aircraft here, so I don't need to garrison that. Okay. Now I'll relocate that. I don't like moving that headquarters because of what it'll do to supply probably, but I also don't need more troops popping up in my rear. So we need troops at this airfield. Why am I kicked out of here? Shouldn't these guys be on our side? I'm confused. What? The RGPC is not under my control? What? Maybe that's just like a one-turn delay while the government gets established. Alright. Destroy that group. Garrison here so they can't rise. As long as they're adjacent, you're fine. Okay. I'm gonna assume this will get free access here next turn, but it was very strange how that unfolded. This regiment keeps reinforcing and we're not able to defeat them. Oh, there they go. Got pushed out of one cow. So nice little victory there for us there. Fucho's another base we want to move toward, but so the Chinese guerrillas are up to 12 now. The nationalists are up to 45. Okay, deploy that brigade here as a garrison. Move these guys south toward Fucho along that roadway. I need Nanking to open back up to me. There we go. Okay. Finish off those communist guerrillas. I hate doing partial or limited reinforcements, but all right, we got one more division here. Move them to deal with mopping up some of these guerrillas. New units to deploy 2 new Japanese regiments. Looks like some of them can actually deploy in China. Okay. I'll do that so I don't have to pay to ship them from the home islands. It's funny that all the units of mine that got disrupted by the provisional government being set up are all the units that I reinforced the previous turn. Okay. And also with Nanking not being in our control, it kind of messes with my supply situation too. But can't be helped now. All right, finished off that garrison. Try and clear out the interior here. Okay. All right. Let's move forward one more turn. Attrition losses for our cavalry, some infantry. U.S. mobilization decreases when the reformed government is established. Roosevelt accepts the apology for the Panay incident. Okay, here we go. RGCP declares war or prepares for war and deploys a garrison. So I'm assuming that'll open that back up and fix our supply situation. Okay, Mao Zedong. Thanks for the historical note. Fucking A, guerrillas just took a port town from us. Gotta move back in and take it back. Okay. God damn. Just bypassing and attacking weak points. Smart. Annoying to deal with, but smart. They just take that secondary supply center, or was it the city adjacent to it? Alright, I'll take more garrisons. As long as it fixes my supply situation. Germany ceases arms exports to China. That's good for us. Alright, yeah. Alright, that's... Okay. More guerrillas. How many are there? All right. Diverting from my main offensive to deal with these guerrillas is not ideal. God damn it. I hope there wasn't anything there and I just marched into it. Okay. I need to clean up this border gore, if only because it's influencing my supply lines. Okay. Keep the pressure up, boys. Pour it into them. All right. Okay, you guys can garrison here to prevent another uprising down there. Damn it. Okay, pushing further inland. I need to move some of these supply bases further inland. Okay. Okay. Cool. Meanwhile, an army got thrown in front of us and my advance south toward Fuzhou. Whoops. Which we did a pretty good job of messing up with the 3rd Division here, but we didn't destroy it. These guys can deploy. Can we pause and reinforce here? Not really. I don't really have enough supply. Okay. They'll probably retake Showa-san, but what you gonna do? Okay, we'll try and get a supply down here to Chengti. That should help push supplies out next turn. We kind of are threatening this capital here of the minor allies, but I doubt I've got the force to do much with it up there. Okay. Would be better. I can't even operate them. So it's kind of like, do you do the force march and take the morale hit, or you not? Okay. The other advantage of the naval strategy of taking port cities with naval strikes is that you are more likely to be in a good supply situation coming off a boat. Okay, so with those two events, U.S. mobilization dropped by 18%. So that's good. Okay. Another division will be on the way in August. That'll be helpful. And we'll save the remaining MPPs for next turn. China's forming a light tank regiment. Great. Sun Yat-sen. Oh my god. All these Chinese guerrilla bases are driving me crazy. Okay. How many more men are they getting? I feel like no matter how many we kill, there's always more. Which I guess is fitting for fighting China, but... Okay. Why are they impossible to hurt? Is it my own supply situation being bad? Okay. Damn it, I was hoping my air power would finish him off. Okay. Regiments freshly raised. Should help crush these guerrillas. Alright, supplies are bad. Should get a little bit better. Alright, shattered that army in the north with cavalry. What's the report now? We've got 47 units. So they're not dramatically stronger. Maybe they're just bringing some units forward that weren't previously forward deployed. Okay. Alright, so that guerrilla unit's destroyed now. It's interesting there's so many guerrilla hexes in a area that was given to us. Like the enemy just, or the governor just didn't even care. He was just like, you know, I'll give up. That's fine. Got him. Okay. Oops. Don't move. Alright. Chinese army group destroyed. Why do we have a -5? What is it because the town isn't? Strong or something? Okay. Push down on Fuzhou. An overland advance. Oh no, an enemy army. Okay. All right, I'm advancing on Fuzhou from the north, which is, again, probably unwise from a supply point of view, but we've run into the 20th Army Group, which I'm assuming is a newly raised unit. They're not as good. Problems here is I don't have a clear view of where I should be deploying these units or HQs. Supply is going to be miserable. So we should probably try to advance on the industrial center here in Anqing, and that'll allow us to make a drive on Wuhan, using Shushan and Anqing as staging areas. The enemy does have fortifications along these routes, so an alternative could be to flank south through Nanchang and come up a little bit behind Wuchang, perhaps. There's not really a lot of good cities to base the invasions out of, though. I doubt it's worth the low chance of changing America's mobilization to invest there. Investing in an HQ wouldn't be a terrible idea, although I don't have the money. So instead, we'll raise 3 new Japanese divisions. 5 new divisions will arrive in the month of August, so that'll be a good month for the Japanese military. I do not have enough units to garrison. I suppose basing air units is a good sort of way. Perhaps to garrison. Oh, they got a nice little... What's in Fuzhou itself? Garrison unit? But they've got an army group and an army here. Okay. Enemy units are at 44 and 12. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for this turn. I'm not sure what to do next. I had wanted a regrouping phase, but I don't have enough HQs to bring supply for like a formal refitting phase. But we'll see. We still destroyed a lot of enemy units. We made some progress on the map. Took one of those coastal ports at Wuchou or Wencao. I think the next one on the list has to be Fuzhou, and then Amoy, Swatou. These are all really important from a Chinese economy point of view, I think. But that'll do it for today's episode. We'll take a look at how this plays out in our next episode. Until then, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, And until next time, I'm out. Bye-bye.